The world's best players, apparently. We'll see if we agree or disagree. We had the world's best, the World XI voted on. Just like straight up initial thoughts on how this went.
I want to go first because Rodri should be in this team, and I don't care if you guys disagree with me or not. He should be here over at least John Stones.
Absolutely.
Being it over Messi.
It's insane. Well, I only said John Stones because of the CDM-ish role that they have him kind of listed in. But even Bernardo Silva, I think Rodri should be there over him.
I agree.
But I just wanted to get that all first. I'll let you guys go, and then I'll jump in after. But
I'm going to make a hot take here. I think one of the players that you could replace for Rodri might be Bellingham, because really, if we're going to talk about for the whole season, Bellingham has only been like top level since he joined Madrid. I mean, I know he was great at Dortmund, but I wouldn't have classed him in the world. I would not have classed him in the World 11 in July. I don't think anybody would have.
I think that's fair. It was probably like a prisoner of the moment type addition to the team. Yeah, Patrick made the point that I was going to make. I think Rodri should be in the team. I do think Messi shouldn't be in the team. I know that was kind of doing the rounds on Twitter. But off the top of my head, I wish I had thought about it more, because now I'm trying to think of a player that I think should be in it. But
I mean, so not to bring up any biases for our two Portuguese league brothers here, but I mean, Ronaldo led the entire world in scoring.
Yeah, well,
a number of assists as well. I understand the Saudi Arabia stuff, but you know.
Yeah.
No, that is whose name was being called to be in the team, and I know it's a classic. It kind of becomes susceptible to that classic Messi-Ronaldo debate, but no, I don't think. I think Messi would have. I think Ronaldo's inclusion in the team would have been far less shocking than seeing Lionel Messi's name in the team, because I mean he hasn't really done anything. Like, all right, yeah, he won the World Cup.
He won the World Cup in 2022.
A year ago.
Yeah.
He scored one MLS goal. Like, I mean, like, again, I've given up on the Ronaldo bandwagon, kind of like defending him to no end, because yeah, he's fallen off. He's not as good as he used to be. I'm not gonna go and argue that stuff. But to be the leading goal scorer, granted in a lower level league, to be the leading goal scorer in the world at that age, and to still be pretty much just not even included, and then having Messi win Player of the Year for just winning a World Cup over 12 months ago, and scoring one MLS goal and going to an even worse level league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All he did was play in the U.S. Open Cup, and that's where he had his success. His team finished outside the playoffs. They were not good. And I don't know. I think that the Messi love is kind of gotten a little bit over the top in the last year, for sure. I don't think he should have been anywhere near this award or this Team of the Year.
I'm going to throw a name out there that I kind of want to just hear what you guys think, really. Harry Kane. Do you guys think he could get in this team over Messi?
See, now it's funny you just said that, because the two players that I also just thought of, one of them was Harry Kane, but the one that I elected that I probably would have picked instead of Messi was somebody who we just brought up in the AFCON, and that was Victor Osimhen. I mean, the way he propelled Napoli to win the Scudetto last season, he himself had, I think, the same amount of goals as Kane, and I know it's not just the numbers, or it shouldn't be just the numbers driven selection, but I thought Osimhen was the best number 9 last season for a number of weeks. I mean, obviously they didn't get the job done in their Champions League campaign, but they did win a Scudetto. I wouldn't have mind seeing Victor Osimhen's name on the team sheet instead of Messi, but Kane was a good shout too. Those were the two forwards if I had to think of replacing him with a forward. I don't like that now. We're in this mindset of like making it a 3-back. Like, where's the love for the fullbacks? You know, I mean, come on.
I mean,
there's no fullbacks in the team at all. It's a 3-3-4. Nobody plays a 3-3-4 in fucking real life.
It's just not.
It's a fake formation. That's the saddest part about it.
Yeah.
They've made that up to put Messi in the team because
Right.
he's got the front three should be Vinny, Haaland, and Mbappe, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
just
and
crazy.
that was the best front three of last year, and
Right.
that's
Yeah.
not even a conversation.
There's no argument there
Yeah.
either.
And it probably should be Rodri's name of any other player that isn't in the team that replaces
Sure.
Messi. Like, just go with 4 midfielders. I mean, no.
3-4-3.
When has a team ever lined up in a 3-3-4? Pep doesn't even do that.
Yeah.
No,
right.
he attacks that way, but
Yeah.
that's not the lineup.
Yeah, I don't know.
Disappointed in that setup.
And not even just the World 11 either. I mean, you get to the men's best award, and Messi takes that home too. And it's like,
Yeah.
For what exactly? And it's not even so much like I get it. Any argument I make about that's anti-Messi is going to be like, oh well, you're just pro Ronaldo, and it's not even that because like we mentioned, Ronaldo is a top goal scorer of the year, but it is what it is. He doesn't make it because it's more than just the numbers, and Messi didn't even have the numbers or anything else for that matter.
Oh, no,
He's obviously. Like him and Ronaldo are just undebated. Like you can't even argue they're the two best players that have ever played the sport. We've been blessed to watch them both. Me and Jay and Pat blessed enough to be supporters of the nation he played for. And it's like, but we can like end that argument and just appreciate what we have now. And like Erling Haaland achieved more than like. And like a lot of other
Anybody
players
else
even
in this
hope
team.
to do in their whole career, and he did it in one season. He was a phenom this season. He won everything you could hope to win, and and not to mention be one of the top goal scorers as well, and like put some of the weight on his back. And it's just crazy to me he didn't win men's best or even like KDB. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. So real quick, I'm looking at this. The way it was decided was the 19th of December 2022 to
Just
August 2023.
Just to conveniently include the World Cup final.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to include the World Cup, fine, but include the rest of this year, like the rest of 2023. Why stop before the season started?
Did you guys see that the voting was actually a tie between Messi and Haaland, and it was the tiebreaker was broken because Messi had been voted on by more team captains than Haaland, so he got the award.
Unreal.
That's just stupid, in my opinion.
The other thing I think that's really stupid. I'm gonna toss it to you too, actually, Pat, in a second. I just wanted to make one more point because I had a question to ask you. I just wanted to go off on the calendar thing. Like, it's even less of a reason for Jude to be in there because he wasn't a world beater in that Dortmund team, especially if it ends at August. He was still a Dortmund player in August. Yeah. I mean, he hadn't made one appearance yet for Real Madrid yet.
That's
we
right.
find him in his team.
As a Real Madrid player.
Yeah, like, he wasn't even a Madrid player, dude. Like, what are we doing? What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say, Pat?
I was just gonna jump in and talk about the date. I was gonna agree with Jason and say, conveniently, it included the World Cup final. That was the day. Yeah. Okay, but even on that day, Messi wasn't the best player on the pitch, and Mbappe scored a hat.
No, yeah, he was.
Exactly.
Jason, look up when the last voting segment ended. Did it end on December 18th, 2022? Or was there an overlap? Now I want to know.
Now I want to see this.
While you look for that, though, the question I wanted to ask Patrick was, now you obviously stated that you thought Rodri should have been in the team, maybe Ronaldo as well. Is it one of those two players that you would elect if you were going to replace Messi or anyone else in this team? Or is there anyone else that springs to mind, like an Osimhen or a Kane, or maybe even a defender that you might have watched?
Yeah, so I think Ruben Diaz and Kyle Walker, maybe even. It's a tough question because I think that Bellingham should have been pulled out if we're going off that voting window. Because he was maybe worth $100 million for his performances over the last couple of years, and like for Dortmund, and really spearheading. He can play the 8, 6, and 10. Yeah, like, you know what I mean. I know you said he wasn't a world beater, but he was pretty dang close. So I would have taken him out. I actually looked at some of the votes, and it looks like De Bruyne got the most votes. Bernardo Silva actually had 13 more votes than Rodri, which is crazy. So I think that I generally would take out Bellingham, and I'm glad Messi won a World Cup. I'm very happy for him and all his fans, but I don't think he even sniffs his team. I mean, I think even over Harry Kane, I think Osimhen would be in over Messi. Absolutely, because he was legit a world beater last year, and I was actually looking. It looked like he actually came fifth for Player of the Year, which is interesting to see too.
So if we're
It's not really, we don't really get to see too many, African players ever in this team. So for him to be really up there, it's a really joy to see, and it's cool with the AFCON going on too. Hopefully he can, prove the haters wrong, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, so looking at the 2022 voting, it was from the
let's do
8th
this.
of August 2021 to the 18th of December 2022.
Hey, dude.
The winner was Messi. Best keeper was Emiliano Martinez, and coach of the year was Lionel Scaloni. So clearly, that was the World Cup award.
Yeah.
So
Like
why
they gave him his free
Exactly.
one, you know? Like
Well,
Emmy
got that for the World
Martinez.
Cup.
Now Emmy Martinez didn't even come close to sniffing the goalkeeper award this year.
right, and if we're gonna count the World Cup final, I mean, shouldn't we be thinking of the save he made? I mean, they won a
That
penalty
alone should put him
shootout.
up there. Yeah, like
I don't know.
We put Courtois in it, who didn't. What trophies did Courtois win this season?
Dude,
Right.
it's
it's
unreal.
I mean, granted, if you're going to August, that's before he tore his ACL after that. I'm assuming so. If we're
Yeah,
just
like
taking
don't get
the
me
last
wrong.
6 months.
I'm not arguing with this Courtois pick at all. In my opinion, he is the number one goalkeeper in the world, regardless of the fact that he's not playing or not. But if we're gonna go off this argument of the dates, it's got to be Ederson. It has to be.
But Ederson wins the best goalkeeper.
Right.
That's
Wins
right.
the
That's
best.
right.
Are
And
they
he's not even
associated?
World
Wait, but I will say, is the FIFPro XI
Yeah.
associated the same award? Am I confusing the two?
Yeah, I think they're
They
voted
do it
the same way.
How do you
on
give
the same stage.
the best
So how do you
goalkeeper and then make the world 11?
Right?
be
Like
a
that's what I'm
different
fucking
goalkeeper?
saying here.
These award
How
shows
does
are a
Ederson
joke.
win the best goalkeeper, but he's not in the world 11?
These award
like,
shows
this-
are a joke.
The
And-
math doesn't add up here.
And it was August 21 to December 22, right, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you
Yes.
do an
So
18
it took
month
the entire
award?
season and a half, and then only this year is only half the season.
They gave a season and a half to include the World Cup, and then half a season. So crazy, dude. It's
I don't
like,
get it, man.
dude, listen, Ronaldo fanboy bias aside, whatever. Like, if you look at an award, manipulate the dates that the award is given off of 2 years in a row to include a tournament twice to then hand the FIFA Men's Best to the same player. What else can you even say at that? You know what I mean? Like, what else are you?
Yeah.
You're just making it a joke. You're ruining like the integrity. If there even is any integrity left, obviously we have so many questions about FIFA corruption, all that bullshit. But if there's any integrity left in this sport, like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So funny
100%.
enough, the goalkeeper thing happened last year too, because Courtois made the World 11, and
Emiliano
Martinez
won
I
the
was
goalkeeper
gonna,
of
I
the
was
year.
gonna bring that up.
Fucking hell.
So
That's strange.
Like,
I
what's
don't know
going on
what's
here? And if we're going to be completely honest here, I don't even think Ederson was the best goalie.
He's
If
not.
we're going to be really, really honest here.
And I think City got plenty of representation, so it's not like you needed it for more City representation.
Oh,
Because you have
yeah,
a full
it's
back
all
line
around-
and pretty much the midfield.
So crazy.
makes no sense.
I got a little bit of a common sense point to make. I mean, I don't even really think Kyle Walker, John Stones, or Ruben Diaz are the best defenders, right? But they're most winningest, so they put him in there.
I
And
mean,
then
John
the most
Stones didn't play
winningest
that
player, literally of the year, doesn't sniff the award because they vote Messi on the one World Cup final.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're
Messi
gonna,
voted for Julian Alvarez.
I was just gonna say that if you were
Anyway,
gonna
like,
talk
what-
about winning, yeah,
It's
it
just-
should be
I
Julian
can't.
Alvarez.
Can't stand FIFA.
I actually wanted to bring up the reason why these Manchester City players are in the team. Let's see if I can spin this point to be a good one. Now, obviously, Man City do a treble, historic achievement. Hasn't been done in a while. The biggest game in club football competition, in my opinion, is the Champions League. I'm a little disheartened. I can't believe I'm going to stick up for this team that there's no Inter players in this team. There was a couple Inter players that had incredible seasons. I know Inter didn't win the Scudetto, but to go to a Champions League final and lose on a shot that goes in deflected off a player that, if his name was on this team sheet instead of Jude Bellingham and Hakan Çalhanoğlu, I wouldn't be too upset at that. And honestly, this might be a hot take, but if Onana's name was the goalkeeper in this team, I'm sorry, like, I wouldn't be that surprised. I mean,
No.
He kept a ton of clean sheets. He was an anchor for Inter last season. There's a reason why United paid the fee to pry him out of Inter's team after only playing one game or one season rather. I mean, they made it to the biggest game that they could have made it to all season. I think they won the Coppa Italia as well. So I don't know. I just think. I mean, it's kind of stupid that if you lose, it discredits what you do. I thought even if I think the defender that should have made this team from Inter is Acerbi. Acerbi was unreal in the Champions League last year.
Lautaro could get in the
He was
team.
a rock. If Lautaro's not in the next one, I don't care about these awards ever again, personally. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next
You
season.
might as well stop now because I bet you he won't be in the team. So
No, well, because Messi is probably going to win MLS Cup, and since that's such an important achievement,
yeah,
I'm sure he'll be in it.
Yeah,
So let's do this then. Let's make our own. Who do we think? Let's make our real 11 right now.
Oh my God, we'll be here forever.
Let's do it right now. Let's do it right now.
No, we can do it.
Because I think we're gonna fly through this because I think there's a lot of consensus in most of this.
Ederson in goal, probably.
You're gonna
Are we
Ederson?
doing? Wait, quickly. Are we going to do the same window of time, or are we going to do the year of 2023?
Well, let's do the same window. Of time,
Same window of
just
time.
for
Okay,
consistency.
just so we're okay.
All right.
Cool.
So
Second
then,
half of the
I'm
year,
gonna be completely honest with you.
might put Onana.
I like Onana for the goalkeeper.
Second half
Thank
of the
you.
year, last year, I'll put Onana.
I like Onana a lot, actually. Now that you say that,
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it, bro. He was by far and away the most impressive goalkeeper last
So I
season.
tried to say this on one. I mean, I tried to kind of defend Onana because with the rough start, like I do get it. The problem is he had the interview where he said, "How does one of the best goalies in the Champions League last year go from the worst goalkeeper in Europe?"
I'm telling you, dude, it's not fair.
I tried to defend the form,
And
like I get it. I do get it, and obviously not as a United fan. Obviously, I want to see him do well and all that. But like they got to the Champions League final for a reason. Like every player on the pitch has to be like a great quality. Practically, like they pick out those weak points in the team in the tournament all the time. So for them to go all the way with him, like you said, Ange being their anchor, I don't see how Ederson sneaks in over him with the performances that they each had. Because I'm really not a fan of Ederson. I would honestly have Alisson over Ederson, regardless of winning nothing.
Me too. And I'll be honest with you, like I have been very critical of Onana this season, but I think I've been so critical of him because I hold him to a higher standard now because of what I've seen him do for the last season at Inter, and honestly, what I saw him do when he was at Ajax before that. So I think that's probably detrimental to him in a way because, as like I said before, he seems like a very confident, needy goalkeeper and a very emotional goalkeeper. So when things aren't going that way, it emphasizes that for him. So I think that's a great point that you made, Pat. I think there's a reason why, like you said, that he was so good and why Inter was able to do what they were doing last year, and he is certainly a big factor in that.
yeah, and again, if you look at the timetable that this is taking place, like Andre Onana is not a Manchester United goalkeeper in the month of August 2023. He kept 2 clean sheets in the semifinal against my Milan. I know nobody thought that either of those teams were worthy of being there, but I thought Inter played up to the occasion. Courtois didn't even get to a Champions League final. He lost the league with Real Madrid. I just thought it was embarrassing. If Ter Stegen's name was on this list, I wouldn't have been surprised either. Because he kept, I think, was it something like 20 plus clean sheets
record
last year in La Liga? I mean, come on, guys. Let's be a little less casual, whoever's voting for this shit. But I'm putting Onana in goal.
Which is nuts.
Let's move to the defenders.
Yeah.
We staying with the back three?
No.
Let's go 4. And we're gonna go 2 fullbacks, 2 center backs, right?
Love it. I love it.
Okay.
4-3-3.
So I'm probably good with keeping Kyle Walker and Ruben Diaz. If I'm being honest.
Not.
No.
I think John
At
Stones
center
last
back?
season.
But where are you playing Walker at center back?
Right back.
No, I think it should be Dumfries, personally.
I agree.
Dumfries.
Yeah,
Or Di Lorenzo, low key.
Ooh, that's
Probably
even
could be
better.
in the
I
team.
changed my mind. I like Di Lorenzo.
I would take Di Lorenzo. I thought he was the best player in the Serie A last season,
Mm-hmm.
performance-wise.
I agree.
I'm not totally
I'm
upset.
not.
I'm not against
I'm not
it.
mad, but I mean, I feel like Walker kind of I don't know.
I know it's
I love Kyle Walker.
Personally, I would put
Can we put Walker at left back?
I would put Walker at right center back.
We can put him at center back. We'll just make
I would
4
put Di
defenders.
Lorenzo right back, Walker right
Oh.
center back.
And we snub Ruben Diaz, in my opinion, because John Stones was ridiculous last
John
year.
Stones.
I like
Stones
that
is the
better.
Did he
highlight
play
of the
enough
City
games,
defense,
though?
I think.
Yes,
Hell
he
yeah.
did.
No, John
Yeah, he
Stones
was
is the
great.
highlight of the City defense.
He was great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stones in their
go
left
with it.
center back.
Yeah.
Left back is the weak link. There's no left back right now that immediately jumps to mind.
Yeah.
I
Probably why
guess.
they omitted one off the team.
Nathan
It's-
Ake had a good season in that role.
Yeah, he
Um,
wasn't awful.
Kamavinga filling in at left back is a decent shout, I think.
Yeah, it's
tough.
possible. I mean, if we include with the champion, well, not really.
mean-
I would say Grimaldo, but they kind of had that collapse in the second half of the season. So
I'll throw Taylor Hernandez's name into the fire.
There's
My
a
boy.
who I know.
Oh,
Bayern
we're
had an
forgetting.
excellent season last season, but I
I
don't
was
know.
going
Who
to
played
say,
left
I think
back
we're
for them.
forgetting Alaba. Alaba was great last year. He
For
was
Madrid,
fantastic.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
saw it
center back,
anyway.
no?
That's true too.
But if you guys run out, we could always just put Ruben Diaz there because it doesn't matter.
I think we actually should.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's not a bad shout. So we go Walker,
It's not terrible.
Stones, Diaz, and
Di Lorenzo.
Lorenzo.
I like that.
Okay.
I'm
I'll
not
take
mad
that.
at that at all.
All right.
In
Midfield.
ADB is staying.
ADB and
Easy
Rodri.
shout.
And Brozovic. You're welcome.
Nah, he sucked last year.
No, I put Hakan in there over Brozovic personally. Even Barella could
I
be big.
feel like
Just to make it fit, maybe Kvaratskhelia, just to make it fit as an attacking mid in there.
Hey, I don't think
As a
that we
midfielder?
should be looking at any other players besides De Bruyne, Rodri, and Bernardo Silva. I don't really think it's a competition
I'm not
for
mad at it.
midfield.
I don't like the Kvara shout. He wasn't as good the second half of the season as he was in the first half.
He did do the first half better. Monopoly
I
representation.
stick with the City 3 for me.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. The only player I'd shed light on it maybe getting in is Barella because I thought he was Inter's best midfielder last season.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
argue a Declan Rice, maybe just because with West Ham going up there. But again, I mean, you also
I
had.
mean, we're talking about
Gundogan.
the 3 starting midfielders in a
Gundogan
treble.
played really well too. Last year.
This
Oh
is
shit,
basically-
that's right.
I know, but this is basically Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta. Like,
See, but I
put
love
Gundogan-
Bernardo, but I think
Gundogan in there
Gundogan
over
last
Bernardo
season.
Silva.
Yeah, unfortunately, I always think Bernardo gets snubbed, and I would love to see him in it. But I think Gundogan
Yeah.
was just a bigger name last season. Even though I don't know, I thought an Inter midfielder deserved to be there, but I guess not. I don't know. My Italians didn't agree with me.
I
Wow,
think
I
it's
would've-
gotta,
think so.
it's got to be Rodri, KDB, Gundogan. I think.
Yeah, I think it has to be Gundogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot.
Unfortunately.
I actually forgot the season that he had. It should be Gundogan.
I don't know. I like Bernardo
Yeah, I mean,
Silva better.
Second half of the season, I think Gundogan kind of took over more first half of the season. I think he kind of.
I just,
a little mixed
not
in the
even.
second
I
half.
just think he was so
Did he
consistent
sleep
and clutch
after
for
the
them
World
the whole
Cup?
year.
Did he fall asleep after the
Well,
World
so
Cup?
he
I
did
don't
sign a
think so.
pre-contract with Barca, so they already knew he was going before the end of the season. So I do think he fell off a bit second half of the season, but I'm good either one. I'm indifferent.
I take
I
Bernardo.
mean, Bernardo does get a brace against Madrid in the semis. I mean, I don't know.
He's more. I think he's more important to the team. They don't miss him
yeah, I would
as
agree.
much.
That's true. That's fair.
Just for the time
So-
frame. Okay, we'll put Bernardo.
We'll do Bernardo.
Okay.
All right, front
And then
three.
The front three, does it change much?
Picks itself. I think the front three stays the same.
Yeah, it's
You're
The only other
Mbappe,
player, like you said,
Haaland,
who
and
has maybe Osimhen over Vinny. Maybe.
yeah. I agree. That's probably the only thing you could add in there.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
did Vinny even do
Well,
last
I mean,
year?
Yeah, I
Did
think take
Mbappe-
away
did
Vinny.
Did Mbappe do much?
Mbappe scores a hat trick in the World Cup final.
Mbappe will put up 55, 60
That's true,
goals
we are
and just like
considering that,
nobody will recognize his numbers
Yeah.
because he
I
played
know,
in
that's-
League One, but he
And that's
he shows in France
Yeah,
like
but-
for France that he is just him. I think anyway.
And also
Yeah,
think, I also think Mbappe's
he's-
kind of
he's
ruined
gotta
his
be in
own
there.
name with his money decisions and stuff. That's to his own fault. But in terms of talent, he's always in the conversation.
Yep.
Yeah, so we thinking an Mbappe, Holland, and Osimhen,
Osimhen.
or
Osimhen.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I like
Oh,
Osimhen.
I like the Osimhen shout. He won the African Footballer of the Year too. I would take Osimhen.
Me too.
Well, what did Vinny win? Right? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I know. But
And
My only pushback is that I feel like we probably shouldn't include a Spanish league player. But we've only gone Serie A and pretty much
For
City.
what?
Well, Serie A and the
PSG,
Premier League
I
did
guess.
dominate all of the major
No,
competitions.
not wrong. Definitely not wrong.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm good with that selection of that front.
That was the thing that was most outrageous to me about the World 11. I mean, there's Italian teams in all of the major finals, and not one Italian.
That's what I was saying. How flat on its face did that fall? That whole marketing campaign the Serie A was trying to run. The Serie A is back. Well, they lost every final they were in. Napoli are losing all their best players. Everybody's
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good with
downhill.
Yeah, and
So we got
Pep manages.
Yeah, easy.
Wins the treble.
He won the treble.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's not something
we've
I'm
got-
super happy with saying, but it just is what it is.
Oh, I'm happy with it.
So we got Onana net, Di Lorenzo at fullback with Kyle Walker. Then
Stones
Stones Diaz.
John Stones. Midfield of KDB, Rodri, and Bernardo Silva. And a front three of Mbappe, Holland, and Victor Osimhen.
Victor Osimhen.
I think that's
I think it's better than
significantly
the
better
one
World
fucking-
11.
I think it's
Significantly better.
FIFA's got
Better
to hit
than
this
the one people
podcast
put
up
out.
because.
They gotta
Yeah, let us pick next year. Shout us out.
What's up, guys? If you love content like that, if you just love football, if you just love soccer, and you want to see more of our conversations, come check out the Son of a Pitch podcast channel on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all across different platforms. We will have weekly roundups of the weekend. We have all kinds of videos, discussions, breakdown, tactical analysis, all the good stuff. Come check us out and keep on being Son of a Pitch.